How are you? How's your week been?
It's been going, but yesterday was Cinco de Mayo,
Yeah.
so I'm
So
still drinking.
tacos or
I feel like it was very fitting.
was quite fitting, quite fitting. Although it's interesting, I remember when this whole thing first started going off, no one was buying Corona beer because they thought
Right.
it had.
People are so ridiculous. So, all right. So in the last episode, we did Snow White, and I liked. I mean, Snow White, like it was for me. But today we are doing Aladdin, which is I feel like a brown and black girl classic. Cause
Yes, we had to jump to a positive one. I know we said we were going to do Dumbo, but we had to jump into Aladdin first because it's just one of those feel good movies. You still love it always, even though it's like a little cheesy story.
it is cheesy, but I will say when Aladdin came out, for the black girls, that was the closest little melanin we got. So every black girl wanted to be Jasmine, but my
Yep.
baby hairs don't really lay down like that.
Nope. My
So,
hair don't do none of
but
that. None of
at
my
the
hair.
time, listen, we love Aladdin. So, first
Yes.
of all, what are you drinking?
I am having today a Seagram's Escape Jamaican Me Happy.
All right, all right. So let's do a clank, clank, clank,
Clink, clink. Cheers.
clank, 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 clank.
Clink.
I also have a
All right.
secondary
So,
beverage here on the side because I'm an alcoholic, and
yes, and this is not sponsored, so don't worry. We're not sponsored by nobody. This is just us enjoying beverages.
right, we want to put that out there. Okay. Also,
Yeah.
please don't mind the video. Listen, we trying to get it together. We in quarantine, so we just if
We
it's
just don't
not
want to know.
HD HQ whatever standards, just work with us, okay?
Right. If y'all can see us in here, it's fine. Then
That's
it's
all that
working.
matters.
It's working.
All right, girls. So now you always hit with the logistics. So everybody knows the story of Aladdin,
You know,
but
with my notes. So here we go. So Aladdin, the story is originally based on the book of 1001 Nights, which is a collection of folk tales. So that's where the original story came from, was Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp. But the Disney film was released November 25th, 1992. The story premise goes, when street rat Aladdin frees a genie from a lamp, he finds his wishes granted. However, he soon finds that the evil what? Oh my god, that's so weird. This is an incomplete premise.
oh, that was it.
Yeah, that was wait, no, but it says I guess they meant to say the evil Jafar and they just didn't put
Oh,
it.
okay,
I
okay, okay,
copy and pasted it from
okay.
I guess the evil Jafar has other plans for the lamp and for Princess Jasmine. But can Aladdin save Princess Jasmine and his love for her after she sees that he isn't quite what he appears to be? So that was the log line of the movie.
Right.
But as far as Aladdin, statistically, it did really well. It was the first animated feature to earn $500 million in the theaters and was the highest grossing animated film until The Lion King, which I think came out either the year after, I think 93 or 94, but it came
Okay.
out years after. So it was the highest grossing animated film at the time. Won 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Score and Best Original Song for A Whole New World. And then it also won 4 Grammys for Best Soundtrack Album, Best Pop Performance by a Duo, and Best Song, and Song of the Year, and Best Song for Motion Picture for A Whole New World.
And we were just saying on the soundtrack, it was Peebo Bryson.
And Regina Belle singing A Whole New World. So you know,
So they added a little blackity black in there too.
yes. Well, they had a lot of R&B artists at the time sing the soundtrack version, but not the movie version, which for me was
Not
always
the movie version.
which was always really, because remember Vanessa Williams sang "Colors of the Wind" for Pocahontas, and Peebo Bryson did the Beauty and the Beast song for the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack with Celine Dion. So you know they had black voices on the soundtracks, but quite interesting that we weren't doing
Not in the film, right?
because I love the soundtrack version.
I love the soundtrack.
I do. I love it as well. So that's just a little bit of fun factoid about Aladdin. But getting into it though, so
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
what do you love most about this film? I can say what I genuinely love because I literally just watched it again before we did this just to
Yes.
keep it fresh in my mind. But what do you love about Aladdin?
What I love about Aladdin is that, well, Jasmine was also kind of spunky too, like compared to the other princesses. Like she was
Right.
kind of spunky. She wasn't really with the shits like that.
To
You
kind
know,
of
she
be
wasn't.
rebellious.
Yeah, she wasn't gonna have nobody tell her what to do. Raja was my nigga. But what I loved about
Raja.
about Aladdin was, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's the typical rags to riches
Mm-hmm.
type of story. And like I said, for me, it was just that was the first Disney movie that had a little bit of culture in it.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe Jungle Book. Jungle Book.
Um, I think because Mowgli was the only human in the
Right.
story, there wasn't
Right.
much
It's a little
culture
different.
built up. That he was a more part of the jungle aesthetic, or the jungle life. So I don't know
Right.
culture you can build into it, but it felt it. I hate to use the word exotic, but that's what the jungle. It felt exotic.
Right. I mean, for that time, like you
Yeah.
said, when it came
Right.
out, 1992. So
1980. Oh, for the Aladdin, you mean?
Aladdin.
Yeah, 1992. Yeah, yeah.
So 1992. So that was the most, little color we seen on
Mhm.
Disney. So that's what I love Aladdin. What about you?
Yeah. No, so for me, I love that part about it too. I feel like for me, Aladdin was really a story about embracing who you are, like just owning you, like being yourself, and this whole idea that you don't have to put on to for people to like you or even love you. You can just be who you are, and that's always good enough. Um, and I don't know, I always just gravitated to that part, like with his desire to just be something otherly, because that whole grass is greener on the other side image, where you think life is so great until you get to the other side and you're like, I don't want this shit. Like when they were,
Mm,
oh, you can marry Jasmine now, and we're gonna make you the Sultan. And he's like, Sultan?
right.
I
Like I didn't
don't
ask for all that.
know, Sultan. I just wanted to marry a princess and be rich. But
Right. Like
yeah,
Meghan Markle.
listen,
Everybody's like, oh, she married the prince. She made it. But it's like, she got
right,
with a
or
lot
that
of
she knew
shit.
what she signed up for, and it's like, no, I don't think she signed up for all of that. Like, there's a lot of other moving pieces that I think people miss when you are looking at something from the outside, and you just have no idea about how the inner workings of it all, you know, feel. And it's just something, that you just won't know until you're there. It's like you won't know what that feels like until it happens to you, or until you experience it. And most of us will never get to experience something of that nature. So we can look at it with our judgmental eyes and say, oh yeah, that's easy, or what's the big deal, or that's not that bad. But
Right.
oh,
I agree. And so in this film, I feel like one of the major things we see, like we said, rags to riches, is poverty.
mm-hmm,
Like, he's they call him a street urchin or a street rat.
mm-hmm,
And then Jasmine is this princess, and basically Aladdin feels like, oh, he can never bag her for real because he's broke.
mm-hmm.
So do you feel like, taking it to the real life situation, do you feel like Jasmine, first of all, would have even paid attention to him if he would have never put on that show romantically?
No, because I mean, she didn't like him when he pretended to be a prince. It was when he was kind of being this authentic, like down to earth person. Like, or I guess, are you asking if she would have went for him if he was poor? You're saying?
Yeah, like if she met him
Oh,
poor, like,
um,
regular.
probably, but only because she was just desiring something other than palace life. She was looking for that. So I think for her, because she was attracted to him when she met him in the street and he was doing all this stuff, she was really attracted to that. So I think she might have fallen for him. But then it's also that gotcha of like, but would she really?
Right.
Right, because I mean, we can apply that to regular life. Do girls go for guys who are broke but have great personality and are really cute, or are you just looking for a guy who's got it all together and their stuff is already intact? Like we were talking about that,
Mm-hmm.
in the on the last call, and it was like, well, what would you look for in a mate? What are the things that need to stand out to you, or the things that need to matter in order for someone to, you want to be, in order for you to want to be with them? And
I
I don't
agree.
know, it's a lot of moving components. It's not just one thing. It can't just be looks, it can't just be money, it can't just be like personality. It has to be like a combination of all of those things working in tandem for that one person to be enough. And the funny thing is, no one is ever going to be enough. You're
Right.
always going to be like, one person can't be everything for you. So I think
And
that's a
I
little
mean,
unfair.
clearly in a movie, there's an obvious
Right,
class system.
right.
So it's like she does not only thinking about meeting this guy or whatever, but it's like, okay, now I gotta introduce him to my daddy. You know what I'm saying? My pet tiger. He don't really fuck with people like that.
Rasha don't like.
So, like, I might deal with you, but like, can I bring you home? And that's another issue. Like, can I bring you home to meet my family and my tiger? You know?
Right.
So,
I know, right.
where also, if like towards the end of the movie, when Jafar basically wants to marry um, Jasmine to be the Sultan, it's like, first of all, I thought Jafar was kind of cute. He wasn't ugly. He wasn't bad looking. He had a nice
And
goatee.
like a sugar daddy, old. I don't know. You know he was bald, right?
Under that hat.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He was
But
bald.
he was like a little smooth. He had a nice goatee and stuff. Like, what do they don't really also get into the villains sometimes in Disney movies? Like, what
No.
made him want to be, he and when I thought about this movie, I thought about money, power, respect, what you need in life,
That's
money, power, respect. That's what the movie is. You get the
it is.
money,
It's all it's about
then
because
you get
Jafar
the
was
power,
for the power. Yeah,
then you get the motherfucking respect. That's what I thought about.
true. Although I don't know if I go. You know what it is? Jafar was not cute in the animated version, but in the remake that they did last year, they did cast a really cute guy.
And we're gonna talk about the
We
remake.
will. We will get to
We'll
the
get on
remake.
that.
But they did cast a fairly attractive gentleman, which
Mm-hmm.
I was happy about because Jafar was kind of he was a little grandfatherly, like
Okay.
he was just old looking.
Okay.
He had
So
to be in his like 40s, and Jasmine's in her what, like teens or 20s,
right.
trying to marry. Ew, ew. Why trying to marry this little girl? I mean, we know why, but like, ew, why?
Right. They're fairly young.
Right, right.
So, what was I gonna say? Hold on, let me go because I'm having a mental block right now. I'll cut this out. Oh, representation in Disney movies, like
Oh
so.
yes, yes.
Yes,
Talk about that because so this is a film where most of the characters are brown. Not even most. All the characters are brown, but almost the entire voice cast was white. And the question that brings about to me, and I think I was having a conversation with Kashif about this the other day about how, people will look at voice casting or might look at voice casting and say, well, it's just a voice. It doesn't really matter, like, because you can't see who it is. So, because we've seen a lot in Disney movies where like brown characters have been predominantly voiced by white actors. Like Esmeralda in Hunchback of Notre Dame was voiced by Demi Moore. And it's like, love Demi, but girl, why? Esmeralda's clearly
right,
brown. But it does matter culturally because we all have different dialects and tones and ways of speaking that are specific to wherever it is you're from. So them specifically, Agrabah, we know, is a Middle Eastern space. They don't specifically say where, but we know
right.
that.
But it's Middle Eastern.
Why we got these hard ass American accents all up and through this film?
Right, and I read an article that, and I never paid attention to this, but you just watched it, so you can tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Do the bad guys in the animated film have like a thick accent?
Definitely have a thicker
Okay, so
accent
and see, as a child, you would never notice that.
it up on it. Yes, and I read that too. And there was actually another note that I had written down about the original lyric in the first verse. So in the beginning of the movie, when they were singing, describing they were singing Arabian Nights. The original line used to be, "Where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home." That was the original line. And
Problematic as fuck.
yep, and there were a bunch of Arab groups that complained about it, petitioned against it, that it was excruciatingly racist, which it is, because you're just narrowing that demographic down to these particular behaviors, and it's like, and in the 90s, that was just not the perfect timing with everything going on.
Oh yes, that was not the perfect time. And I'm also don't think what would like make like these white old men probably who are in these rooms or these white people who making these films to sit down and be like, let's make a Middle Eastern movie with Middle Eastern characters, but we're not going to get any reference from the people who actually like are a part of this culture. We're just going to make up everything on our own, and we're not even going to ask for their input, and we're just gonna make it like the way we want to make it. Like
Well, that's Hollywood.
Well, yeah, duh.
I mean, it's no. I don't even think that there was a process of questioning. It's like this is the movie that they wanted to make, and they were gonna make it. But for me, I think that there's just a lot of other pieces that should have been considered. But again, it's the 90s, different frame of thinking. I mean, hell, look at us. We're in 2020 and we're still having trouble with this shit. So back then, I wouldn't think
Right.
nobody was blinking an eye to question whether or not that was an appropriate line to use until people said something. So, you know, like even another line in the Prince Ali song, they said that he had slaves. I'm like, he's got slaves? Okay.
Listen, here we go again. So funny you mentioned slaves again. Let's talk about the genie. Let's talk about the Dear
That
Robin
was the
Williams.
best. I have to say, the genie was the best part of the movie for me because Robin Williams. Love.
Amazing. We
Williams.
love Robin Williams.
Love him.
But here we go again. Like Snow White, another fucking slave trapped in an object.
Right. Right.
A colored man.
Right. Well, the genie was blue, but he was color. But I don't know if we'll say he was colored. But yes, just another piece of the puzzle. Although I can say that was also a part of the original folklore, so I'm not
right. I'm being funny, but yeah.
in it because obviously that was the story. But best part.
Right, that was the best part. And so here's another thing with this power thing, right? Because you get 3 wishes. Jafar wants the lamp, you know, because he wants to be the greatest, powerful, most powerful. And also Aladdin and, you know, the genie, they form this friendship. So my question to you is, if you had to pick 3 wishes, because remember, he ended up also like tricking the genie, or he used one of his wishes, ended up using it to get both of them out. So if you only had 3 wishes, what would your 3 wishes be?
Gosh. Okay, so 3 wishes. Obviously, thinking I'm restricted to the same limitations that Aladdin is. So you can't ask for more wishes. You can't make someone fall in love with you, and you can't bring someone back from the dead. So what would I wish for? Oh God, I don't know. World peace. That's my Miss America answer. World peace.
Okay, world peace. That's one.
World peace. And the end of white supremacy. Would love that. Cause shit, I'm tired. Oh gosh, 3 wishes. Well, somebody get rid of these student loans. Cause child.
Woo! Oh yeah.
No debt. Just clear the debt. Cause I feel like that's a different kind of freedom to not feel like you have to, you know, have that on your back. So no debt. And oh man.
Did you already say 3?
No. I said 2.
Oh.
No. World peace and the end of white supremacy is one wish.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
We want that together. Yeah, and get rid of all my student debt. And oh gosh, I guess just give me a nice beachfront house with, you know, all the things. I don't want much because I feel like material things can't give you added value to life. Like it's things that you can't wish for. It's things that you have to experience, I guess. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
What would you wish for?
Could you wish for good health?
I guess so, yeah.
Because you gotta be clever. So
right, you got right.
Good health.
Okay.
Student loans, definitely.
Right? Get rid of them things, man. Sally.
Or not even student loans, but maybe I'll change it up a little bit since you said student loans. Maybe just like financial, like comfort, like financial stability to do whatever I want.
Okay, I said all the debt. All the
debts.
All the debt.
The debt was paid, yes. All the debts paid. And see, yours is very Miss America. I'm gonna say something ratchet. Unlimited wine, like wine, flowing wine everywhere. Just free wine.
Free wine. Okay.
Just like tap is wine.
Well, with my world peace and your free wine, that seems like a perfect place to me.
We need it now.
Perfect to me.
In these times. So yeah, so 3 wishes. But actually in the movie, what did he wish for again?
So the first thing he wished for was to be a prince. The second thing he wished for. What was the second thing he wished for? When he saved him from drowning. So he
Oh yes. So that one he kind of not wasted, but
that was the one he had to use, like,
yeah.
yeah. So he couldn't give him a freebie on that. So he used the second wish to save him from drowning, and then the third wish he used to set the genie free.
So it's interesting too that when Jafar got the lamp, he just wanted to be the most powerful nigga in the land. That was his wish.
That was it. It was all about him.
But it's funny how at the end, right, Aladdin ends up winning anyway just by like playing on Jafar's insecurities.
Of course, which is the easiest way to get to anybody, because if you can hit the button that you know is the most sensitive, you can control them, which is this craziest part. It's like Jafar thought he had all the power, but in his mind, he was actually trapped.
So what do you think is Jasmine's tea in this whole film? Like, is she a background? Is she really a deep character? Like, does she really matter?
So, for the purpose of the film's movement, yes, because she's the only object that becomes the object of Aladdin's affection, which is the only reason why he does the things that he does. So she creates the movement, but as for her own story, we don't see much of like what it is that she actually, like, we know what she wants because she says
Right.
it. We don't actually get to really see her try to fulfill that because she gets kind of sideswept by this guy she falls in love with. So
And she wants to be able to pick her own
to live her
partner.
own life, yeah, live her own life, pick her own partner, do things without having to live under the scrutiny of being a princess, going to the market. Like she said, she's never been outside the damn walls. Like to the point where she went to the market and just picked up an apple and was like, oh, you gotta pay? Like sis has not lived.
So
So
would you be in an arranged situation? Like if your parents, because there are some cultures where parents choose your partner, would you be down for that?
personally, no, but I have watched what is it? Is it Married at First Sight? Is it that show? Or something like that, where like you meet somebody that you're supposed to marry on the day of.
Right, right.
But I've seen an episode or two. But for me personally, no, because there's got to be a lot of moving pieces that, like, we got to get to know each other well. I need to find out if, you know, what kind of home person you are, because that's a very sacred space for me in my home. I need to be able to tolerate you. You can't be getting on my nerves, dropping stuff, leaving things all over the place.
Right, but I mean, at least they guaranteed a partner. I guess it's like with the arrangements, like we'll figure it out around, we'll figure it out along the way. We'll grow to love each other. But Jasmine wasn't really feeling it. She wanted to pick.
I'll be with Jasmine. I'd rather be alone. Don't be picking nobody for me. These corny ass dudes that don't even can't
She
even
was
handle
like,
it.
"Listen, I want to pick. I want to choose." So let's talk about the live action movie that happened. What did you think about that? Did they do a good job? Child,
20,
we talked about it in our group chat. When we
we
saw
did.
the cover of the people who was playing, we was like,
But hold on, I have the Aladdin 2019 stats for that one. So, because we gotta come prepared.
okay,
So came out 2019, was directed by Guy Ritchie, who, if you didn't know, used to be married to Madonna, um, British. And it was released in theaters May 24th, 2019, grossed $1 billion worldwide, becoming the ninth highest grossing film of the year and 34th highest grossing film of all time. However, it did receive a lot of mixed reviews from critics. Obviously, one of the biggest issues people got was regarding the casting, um, specifically of Aladdin and Jasmine. But overall, the film did really, really well. But for me personally, there was just, it went like that.
I think Will Smith did a great job.
I love Will. Okay, I really wanted to love Will Smith in this. I did.
You didn't like
Unpopular opinion? No. And not because I thought he did a bad job, but only because I felt like that role was made for a comedian. And, you know, not to compare, because Robin Williams obviously is in a different league of his own, and not meant to be. And Will Smith is in a definitely in
him.
his own
Right.
as well. But I felt like the role of the genie could have been a little bit more comical for me, at least if you're translating it over into the live version. And Will Smith is not a comedian. He's not. So I felt like sometimes right, where the jokes were supposed to land, they didn't. And where they were supposed to feel like a comedic relief, I didn't see it. So that's the only reason I wasn't, you know, amazed by his performance, but I didn't think he did a bad job. I just felt like it would have been better suited for a comedian. Whereas like you have the timing, you have the rhythmic, ability to keep up the pace of the film, because it did feel really slow. It felt like it dragged a little bit. I'm like, okay, when are we gonna get to this part? When are we gonna get to that part? And then they added different elements and pieces.
Right, they did.
It is fine. It's 2019 when it came out, so you have to kind of elevate, the culture in the show. Have to be a little bit more conscious of the things that are said and done. They gave Jasmine a song. She had a solo.
That was an original, yes.
Talking about, singing about her, being her own independent person, which I love, giving her a voice that she didn't really have in the animated version. So there were a lot of nice pieces that they added. They gave the genie a love interest.
I did. I mean, that was cute. My only thing was in the movie that I kept being like, Jasmine's maid or helper, she was white. Sis was white. They tried to make her, but I was like,
a handmaid or something like that. Yeah,
a handmaid, whatever. She was white. I don't care what nobody say. I actually
she was white.
She was white.
Mm-hmm. I believe so. Let me, we want to be factual.
I know. That's what I said. Let me not spit the wrong information.
Exactly, because people again were feeling a lot of their ways about the casting of Aladdin and Jasmine, so to speak, which I can understand, because again, you had the opportunity to make this really culturally, hit the button, and there's already a lot of colorism that exists in those parts of the world. And yeah, so she's an American actress. Her name is Nasim Pedrad. I hope I'm not butchering her name.
So
it says that she's American, but she was born in Iran.
Okay.
She's Iranian.
Okay. Okay, so at least we fact checked.
She's Iranian, right? We fact checked. We checked ourselves.
Definitely then some colorism.
Right, but the colorism that exists, right, and we see that everywhere, but especially in that part of the world, it's really big. Like, in Bollywood and all that kind of stuff, fairer skinned actresses are, more highly regarded than darker skinned. And it's like, ridiculously apparent in this film, because you don't see anybody who's, to put it, so bluntly, darker than a paper bag.
And to be honest, I know when people say, what's the big deal?
In that part of the world,
they're dark. They're under the sun.
Hello. Like, they have melanin.
Like they was in the fucking desert and stuff, so
very little brown people.
And I think people will be like, what's the big deal? But to me, it's like, if you're gonna do something like this, where especially the new generation is watching, the young kids who may not have seen the 1992 film, you need to, like, this is a chance to show the diversity,
right,
and the different shades of brown. So I think that the live action, the new movie, it kind of failed in that aspect.
It's good, yeah.
But I did like it. So, the one thing that I would say about Aladdin that is, I think also, like, everybody I think would agree that the best part is the magic carpet ride. A magic carpet ride. Right. And that is definitely about trust, because I don't think I'm getting on no magic carpet with nobody. Riding.
Well, I asked her right before, do you trust me?
Do you trust me?
He said, do you trust me?
And what
would be making a person to be like, yo, you don't trust me? Like, what's good? It be making you second guess.
Right. And she was like, I don't know. But also, you feel like, is there symbolism with a whole new world? Like, is he in a way saying, like, I'm going to show you something that you're not used to. I'm going to show you the city in the way you've never seen it before? Because I do feel like when you have a certain level of, like, money or status, you only see things in a certain way.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think the whole goal, or I guess the mission of that moment was to show her a new side of life. You know what I mean? I can show you the world, shining, shimmery, splendid. All of the things that you didn't know you were missing, or all the things that you've never even realized were out there, because Aladdin's lived his life in the street. You know, he's lived, you know, among life in that way, and she's been stuck behind the palace wall, and it's like, nah, let me show you what the heck is out here.
Right, because this is actually way more fun than what the fuck you be doing sometimes. Like,
Right.
you know, you actually get to live and not be sheltered. Also, let's talk a little bit too about the sidekicks of the movie.
Oh yeah, Abu, Iago, Carpet, Raja.
Well, who was your favorite sidekick in the movie?
I mean, Abu has a lot of most of the action in there, but I fucks with Raja. Raja. My man was like, listen, you're not finna come get close to my girl unless I validate you. Like, he ripped dude's underwear off. Like,
period.
And that's the thing, you trying to marry me and you can't even handle my tiger?
Because animals can sense bad energy as well.
Them and babies.
So Raja was just like, you know what? I'm not really fucking with this.
Mm-hmm. Now Raja was dope.
Abu just didn't listen. Like, he pissed me off when he took the jewel from the damn.
You were the cause of all of this. I was like,
leave that little monkey.
You're like a badass child. Just, I told you not to touch nothing. We come up in the store, you done touch stuff. Now we stuck in the cave.
Right, like a black mama. I told you. When we get up in here,
don't touch nothing.
Don't touch nothing. We in and we out.
We coming to get one thing. That's what they were. Get one thing.
We coming to get one thing.
And get out. And look at you going in.
Ask for nothing else. And look what he did.
Yep. And then tried to put it back like it was nothing. Nope, too late.
I'm gonna take you to jail. You know how black mamas, you stole it.
Yep,
you stole it. A black mama would have been like, you know what? I'm gonna let Jafar have your ass. That's what you deserve. If Jafar come back, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna let him take you. Then what you gonna do when you separated from me? You gonna go into the system, into the shelter.
Oh no, I don't want to go with Jafar.
You're gonna be in an animal shelter just because you couldn't listen.
Shaking my head. Abu, yeah, Abu was a troublemaker.
And what about Iago?
So, mixed feelings about Iago. Because interestingly, like, he turns, you know, the tides in the sequel. So I don't know if you ever watched the sequels to Aladdin, Return of Jafar.
No.
So in the Return of Jafar, Iago decides to kind of do a quick 180. You know, he sees.
Oh, wait, that came out back in the day too, right?
Yeah, they all came out. Yeah, they came.
I did watch Return of Jafar. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so Iago decides to, you know, flip sides and all that kind of stuff. So but we're talking about this movie. So right now he's clearly problematic. But again, he's the comedic relief. He's like Jafar's inner ear, but he does it in such a comical way that you kind of are like, oh my God, you know, you're so funny.
Right.
Like with the cracker thing.
Right.
You know, the Sultan kept stuffing his face. But I don't got no problems with Iago. He was a bird. He was smart. He was, honestly, I feel like he was the mastermind ultimately. Feeding Jafar a lot of the ideas that he, you know, was thinking about, aside from wanting the lamp. Like, Jafar had no idea what he was going to do with it. He's like, why don't you marry Jasmine so that you can become the Sultan? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, duh. Wait,
and a question I have is, how did Jafar come up with that Aladdin was the chosen one to get the lamp? Or he just made that up?
No, he got the cave told him he needed to find the diamond in the rough.
Right.
So he took the king's diamond ring and put it, I guess, in a little sand thing, whatever. And that's how he asked them to show him who's the one that's worthy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's when he saw Aladdin.
And that's crazy because here Aladdin is thinking he's, you know, a street rat or whatever, and he's the chosen
one. Mm-hmm.
So it just tells you just gotta believe in yourself. And also when he dressed up, you know, more rich and everything like that, he started having a confidence about himself.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's all you need, you know, just fake it till you make it, but don't lie about who you are, but you know.
Right.
So overall,
lies catch up to you, and then you can't outrun them.
Right.
Because it got to the point where, like, they were saying, oh, we want you to be a sultan. You're like, sultan? Well, you're supposed to be a prince. So that ultimately should be in, like, your stratosphere of
Right.
existence.
Like what kingdom you from? Where you from?
Right.
What
Yeah,
prince of
like one day you're gonna rule something. Why is that scary to you? You're supposed to be expecting that. So don't be signing up for shit that y'all don't really want to do.
Right.
That's what I'll be taking out of that. Be yourself.
So would you say that was the lesson of Aladdin?
Yeah, I was learning to love you for you. Yes, because ultimately everyone in there was trying to pretend to be something else other than what they were, and you just have to embrace the fact, Jasmine, you're a princess. Embrace it. You might not like the lifestyle, you might not agree with everything, but you're a princess. That is who you are. Aladdin,
Right.
son.
And I
You
think the other thing we learn is that sometimes having all the power is not a good thing.
nope,
Or wanting more power is not always a good thing.
nope. Because look at it, he had all that power and he was still trapped to the limitations of the lamp.
And be careful what you wish for, because the genie. Because sometimes you may wish for something and it come true and it's a hot ass mess,
Yeah.
child.
That's really
I
the
know.
children is be careful what you wish for, but like grown-ups, be happy with what the fuck you got. The grass is greener where you water it.
Amen. Now I'll cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
With my second drink.
What is in that?
You'll now never tell. But yes, I love Aladdin. It's definitely a classic.
Awesome soundtrack, my favorite soundtrack. I also rank my Disney movies based on the music because you just like if it's not sing alongable, this doesn't do it for me. Now all of them are not musicals, but the ones that are musicals, hell yeah, you gotta be sing alongable. Come on.
Gotta be sing alongable. So it's great tracks, great music, and it just makes you, it's all warm and fuzzy inside. So,
Disney.
girl, it's been fun. We gonna come back on the next Disney movie, drunk-ish Disney, because I'm not drunk, just feeling good.
Wednesday, we still gotta make it through the other half of this week.
Listen, so I'll see you next time.
All right, bye.